Now we're going to move to some Big 12 action and break down a game that I think is very interesting. You got Texas, a 5.5-point favorite, despite their losses this year and their heartbreaking loss to Oklahoma last week against Oklahoma State. You got the Fighting Mike Gundys, the rockin' mullets coming in there to take care of business against Texas, and they're undefeated on the year. Like I said, I had them in my top 10 based off that win going to Boise State and winning on the road, and they play a good brand of defense. I think they're averaging, allowing less than 100 yards rushing per game in the 90 range there. So I like this Cowboys team and their defense. Donovan, is that defense going to be solid enough to stop Bijan Robinson and that Texas running attack?
Listen, they certainly have the opportunity to, right? I understand Texas, put up ungodly numbers, right, and against Oklahoma, they put up points. But is that more of a factor of how good Texas offense is overall? Because we know Bijan Robinson is probably the best running back in the country, right? But I think that's more of a reflection on how bad Oklahoma's defense was. Oklahoma State's defense is going to play better, right? But is it going to be that, okay, Texas offense really is that good, right? And if it is that good as they were last week, that complete, I don't know if Oklahoma State can keep up with that. Jalen Warren, running back for Oklahoma State, over 500 yards rushing behind that stout offensive line for Oklahoma State. That offensive line has surprised a lot of people, right? The big question on that offense, if Texas's offense, plays to what they did last week, you got to ask, again, the big question is Oklahoma State, can they match it? And the quarterback plays, I think will hamper them. Spencer Sanders, only 5 touchdowns and 4 interceptions. I don't know if they can keep up with the Texas offense if they're rolling like they were last week.
I agree with you. This is something I've been thinking about recently. Oklahoma State kind of reminds me of Kentucky, like a really good, stout, physical defense, but they have a liability on offense. Will Levis looks good at times. Spencer Sanders looks good at times, but then he has games like Baylor where he's just throwing interceptions. And that defense bailed him out. Baylor could do nothing after they got the interceptions. I was so mad as a Baylor -10 better. Like, you're getting the ball in your territory back-to-back possessions, it seems like, with nonstop interceptions. You could not do anything with it. So I really like this Oklahoma State defense to keep it close. Like you said, Bijan Robinson, obviously one of the best, if not the best running back in the country. That's where the game's really going to come down to. Like, are you going to allow him to run the ball? You have a good defense. Help out your quarterback, Spencer Sanders, who shows some flashes, but he doesn't have that, like, I can win this game myself ability. It's more of, I can keep it close, and I kind of hope that our defense wins this game for us. It is interesting, Oklahoma State's undefeated. They're the higher-ranked team. Texas seems like big favorites this game. The ESPN Power Football Index has them as a 79% chance of winning the game. I'm leaning more towards Texas this game just because I feel like their offense can flow. The defense is suspect, as we saw with the Oklahoma game, but I trust a better offense than what I see over there in Oklahoma State. I just haven't seen enough willpower on that offense to win a game at Texas.
I don't know. I think the Oklahoma State defense is going to be miles better than what Oklahoma threw out there against Texas last week. They're gonna tackle better. And then you mentioned the similarities to Kentucky, right? Also, their number one receiving threat, where's number one, is a transfer, just like Wan'Dale Robinson. Where's the number one was a transfer from Nebraska to Kentucky. Tay Martin, leading receiver for Oklahoma State, transferred from Washington State. Actually, 2 years ago now. He played last year at Oklahoma State. Now he's their leading receiver this year. Has had 3 100-yard games on the year. I like Tay Martin there. He's going to have to do a lot in this game, and Texas is going to try to take him away. But Jalen Warren, Spencer Sanders got to try to find some continuity. But I like I'm kind of old school. I'm going to go defense first over here. I'm going to say that Sark and them continue to have some woes on defense, makes Oklahoma State's offense look better than what it is, and Oklahoma State comes up with some key stops. I'm going to take Oklahoma State to upset them on the road.
Yeah, you saw Texas struggle against Arkansas with a good defense. I can see why you want to go that way. Arkansas didn't have the best offense at the time. Seems like
Still don't.
Clicking now, but it's just against Ole Miss.
It's just because Ole Miss's defense is terrible. But I'm gonna give my score here. I'm gonna say Oklahoma State wins this one. I'm gonna say they win it 28 to. I'm gonna say they win it 28-24 over Texas.
So they are a real top 10 team. Are they better than Michigan? That's my question.
No, not better than Michigan. I don't think
Mm.
anybody in the Big 12 is better than Michigan. I think all 4 teams in the Big 10 East are better than anybody in the Big 12.
Wow. I don't know. I still a little suspect about Michigan, but
Yeah, listen, Texas run game looks like it was rolling offense, right? Scoring a lot of points. I can never bet against one of my former teammates and his team going on right now. Blaine, I'm with you. That old school football just kind of feels like it's back, right? And Oklahoma State almost embodies that like a handful of other teams. I think the gut punch that it is. I don't think a lot of people understand how much of a gut punch, right? Just a potential season record is to lose your rivalry game like that when you had it so close to you after you were dominating for so long. To lose it like that, to just basically hand it over, how devastating that is. I'm going to go Oklahoma State 27, and I'm going to go Texas 20.
All right, Josh, you're the last hope for the Longhorns. You gonna throw the score out there?
I believe in Sarkisian enough, not a lot, but enough to win against the Oklahoma State team that I still have questions about. I'm going to say this is a closer one. I'm going to say 27-20. Well, I don't know. What's the spread on this one right now?
5.5.
5.5? I'll take it. I'll take the spread 27-20 Texas.
All right, guys. So we've previewed Florida at LSU. We've previewed Oklahoma State at Texas. We've given you our rankings versus the AP rankings and given you our reaction from the weekend that was.